From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, April 27th. We have a very warm and sunny day ahead, our warmest day of the year so far, in fact. Highs will get to the low to mid 80s. Today, there's a highly anticipated announcement coming from the president. Sources who are familiar with the announcement tell CNN that President Biden will release updated outdoor mask wearing guidance during his State of the Pandemic remarks. A November review in the Journal of Infectious Diseases found that less than 10% of COVID-19 infections studied occurred outside. CNN is also reporting that the recommendations will provide guidelines for infection control and prevention in healthcare settings. Today, the president's also expected to provide guidelines for activities of fully vaccinated people can resume. Emergency physician and public health expert Dr. Lena Wen believes that updating mask-wearing guidelines will help get more people vaccinated.
I think it'll be a lot more effective if we say, once you are fully vaccinated, that's the end of the road for you. And so at that point, you're able to take off your mask outside. You're able to go about enjoying many aspects of pre-pandemic life. I think that is going to be key to overcoming vaccine hesitancy.
People are considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after the second dose of Pfizer or Moderna vaccines, or 2 weeks after the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. According to the CDC COVID data tracker, 95.8 million people are fully vaccinated in the United States. And as far as Indiana, the state health department says more than 4 million COVID vaccines have now been administered. More than 1.7 million people in the state are now considered fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. More vaccine clinics in Indiana are giving the shots without appointments. A clinic in Gary is one example. There will be different entrances for walk-ins and those with appointments. All Meijer stores are also offering walk-up vaccines while they last each week. The company says each store will have at least 100 doses per week for use on a first-come, first-served basis. India is getting international help for its coronavirus crisis. The United Kingdom's parliament sent out some pictures of workers unloading medical supplies from a plane. UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab says the supplies will be deployed where they are needed most. India recorded more than 320,000 new positive cases of COVID-19 Tuesday and nearly 2,800 deaths in the past 24 hours. A professor from the University of Southern California is sharing recommendations on how to make sure your medical record shows you are vaccinated against COVID-19. Dr. Sirisha Mohan suggests you preserve your vaccination card just like you would any other medical information you keep. She also says it's a good idea to fax or email a copy of your card to your primary care doctor. Dr. Mohan also says if you got your shot at a pharmacy, the pharmacy staff should be able to send that information to your doctor. And a man in California is in the hospital after developing a blood clot within 2 weeks of getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. University of California San Francisco officials said the man is in his 30s and is the first male patient with this sort of syndrome in the United States. UCSF added the man should be discharged from the hospital within a few days. The CDC has reported blood clots in 15 women in the United States. Health officials lifted the pause on the single-dose shots use on Friday. And today, Indianapolis Public Schools will decide on new proposed transportation shifts for the 2021-22 school year, meaning there'll be a vote on bus route changes. If approved, more students will be walking or riding Indigo buses. Parents are focused on safety, and their biggest concern, that some students may only be left with the option to walk to school. The district will enforce the walk zone policy at all IPS schools. This means transportation will only be provided to all elementary students who live more than a mile from their school, all middle school students who live more than 1.25 miles from their school, and all high school students who live more than a mile and a half from their school. Between 5,500 and 7,000 students are expected to walk to school starting in August. The district says crossing guards will be in place to help students get to their schools safely. Executing the walk zone policy at all IPS schools does not require board approval because it's an existing policy. The district also plans to move some high school students to Indigo as their sole means of transportation. School officials say this new approach maximizes funding without negatively impacting teaching and learning in classrooms. But not all parents agree with that.
Things happen on the way to school.
You know what I mean? I don't care if you're 0.5 miles, you know what I mean? Things happen. Me personally, I love for my kids to ride the bus because I feel secure, instead of walking to school. I don't have to worry about, they're getting snatched on their way to school or being concerned that they make it to school because they're walking.
The district has hosted 3 virtual town halls over the past few weeks to share information to parents. They've also answered questions through online feedback forms. The district says they're making these changes for a variety of reasons, including significantly high transportation costs per pupil, as well as several factors related to COVID-19 and a $15 million district shortfall. The meeting starts tonight at 6 at IPS headquarters off of Walnut Street. The district will take in-person public comment, but capacity is limited to 50 people. Social distancing and face masks are required. Officials with a new proposed public charter school are meeting with the Office of Education Innovation. Monarca Academy plans to serve students in grades 6 through 12. Executive Director Francisco Valdiosera says there's an opportunity gap among Latinos. To address the gap, the school curriculum plans to help students understand their cultural heritages.
These practices, these culturally responsive and sustaining practices, are research-based, and they have proven to have a high academic impact on all students, especially Black and brown students.
The school plans to be a college and career readiness community school inspired by the Latino and immigrant experience. Executive Director Valdiosera says the school is also focusing on celebrating students' cultures. School leaders say they hope to have the school operating by fall of next year. The Department of Homeland Security is launching an in-house investigation. Officials say they're reviewing potential threats of domestic violence extremism from within its ranks. The department did not say what is prompting the investigation. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sent a memo to his staff calling for vigilance in identifying and combating violent extremism throughout the agency and the country. DHS has more than 240,000 employees responsible for protecting the United States. Indiana is still growing, but not as fast as some other states. It's dropped from 15th largest to 17th largest in the new census. The state's population grew 4.7% in the last 10 years, meaning more than 6.78 million people reported now living in the state. The census also reports Indiana will keep all 9 congressional seats. Taking a look nationwide, 6 states are adding seats in the House of Representatives. Texas is gaining 2 spots. Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon are all adding 1. 7 states are losing 1 seat each: California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. The city of Chicago is suing a gun store in Gary. According to prosecutors, West Fourth Sports Inc. is tied to more than 850 guns connected to crime in Chicago. The lawsuit claims the store broke federal gun laws on multiple occasions. Prosecutors accuse the store of ignoring signs of people buying weapons for someone who can't legally purchase one, along with ignoring gun trafficking. The city's now asking a court to prevent West Fourth's practices. Faith leaders are demanding that state officials start taking action to stop gun violence. They believe it's time for Governor Holcomb to declare gun violence a public health crisis. That would mean state resources could be used to tackle the problem. The group's urging state lawmakers to vote in favor of gun reform laws and veto any bill that could allow more guns in communities. One advocate warns against complacency over the issue.
I hear a lot of times in people's voices just kind of a weariness because we go through this cycle over and over and over again, and it's this almost resignation that again nothing will be done. And I think as communities of faith, we need to hold up hope that there is action, that there is progress is possible.
The group is pressing the governor to dedicate 5% of Indiana's American Rescue Plan funds to support community-based violence reduction groups.
Searching for a romantic summer getaway? Escape with Rich Girl Summer, the new Audible original from Lily Chu. The exquisitely talented Philippa Sue, returning to narrate her 5th Lily Chu title. This time, Philippa is joined by her real-life husband, Stephen Pasquale. Set in Toronto's wealthy cottage country, aka the Hamptons of Canada, Rich Girl Summer follows the story of Valerie, a down-on-her-luck event planner posing as a socialite's long-lost daughter, while piecing together the secrets surrounding a mysterious family and falling deeper and deeper in love with the impossibly hard-to-read and infuriatingly handsome family assistant, Nico. Caught between pretending to belong and unexpectedly finding where she truly fits in, Valerie learns her summer is about to get far more complicated than she ever planned. She's in over her head and head over heels. Listen to Rich Girl Summer now on Audible. Go to audible.com/richgirlsummer.
State police found $2 million worth of drugs during a traffic stop in Hendricks County. 134 pounds of meth and 90 pounds of fentanyl were found in a van. Troopers say the drugs were on their way to Indianapolis. And this morning, 2 people are under arrest. State police took Esther Osugueda and Adam Lopez of California into custody. Troopers pulled them over on I-70 near Clayton for unsafe lane movement, and they're now both facing felony drug charges. A man wanted in Frankfort is waking up in custody this morning. The department announced on Facebook that Matthew Vega was arrested yesterday. Frankfort police shared a photo on their Facebook page that shows Vega being taken into custody. Vega's wanted on multiple counts, including child molestation, rape, incest, and sexual misconduct with a minor. Breonna Taylor's mother is weighing in on a new federal investigation into Louisville police. Tamika Palmer tweeted, "I can't wait for the world to see Louisville Police Department for what it really is." The Justice Department investigation comes more than 1 year after Taylor's death. She was shot and killed during a raid at her home. The DOJ will look to see if there are patterns of unreasonable force, unconstitutional stops and seizures, or illegally executed search warrants. This is the second new Justice Department investigation into local police forces. Last week, the agency announced it's looking into the Minneapolis Police Department. And calls for transparency are growing louder in North Carolina following a deadly police shooting. Yesterday, the family of Andrew Brown Jr. and their attorneys say they were shown a short 20-second clip of police body camera video. The video was part of Brown's encounter with sheriff's deputies when they tried to serve an arrest warrant last week. The family's attorney says the short clip shows Brown was not a threat to deputies.
This was an execution. He was not reaching for anything. He wasn't touching anything. He wasn't throwing anything around. He had his hands firmly on the steering wheel. They run up to his vehicle shooting.
The sheriff's department says more body camera video cannot be released until a court approves a motion filed by the county attorney. Out of California, where there's an effort to remove the state's governor, recall supporters have enough signatures against Gavin Newsom to qualify for the ballot. The Secretary of State's office has verified 1.6 million signatures, which is more than the requirement. Newsom is in his first term. Efforts to remove him started in June. Newsom's campaign manager says the recall is an effort by pro-Trump Republicans to undo the important progress we've made under Governor Newsom. Last week, Caitlyn Jenner joined a list of candidates running to replace the governor. Local police officers paid tribute to a 19-year-old killed in the mass shooting at FedEx. Samaria Blackwell hoped to become a police officer one day. 6 different police departments attended Blackwell's funeral service yesterday and took part in a large police procession to the gravesite. Around 500 people attended the service. A representative for the family says it was full of memories.
Well, it's really overwhelming, and I think the family is sensing that. There were tears, but it was a great time of, honestly, worship in the service today.
Avon police estimate they've received more than 200 shoulder patches to donate to Blackwell's family. The department plans to work with her family on how to display those. As Governor Holcomb mulls whether to sign a controversial bill into law, environmental groups are joining together to urge him not to. It's the wetlands measure, which would pull back many of the protections for wetlands in Indiana. Supporters of the change say the rules unfairly restrict private land and slow development. Opponents say the bill could devastate a fragile but critical part of Indiana's environment.
Despite opposition from prominent Republicans, the Senate rammed the bill through within the week. They didn't even bother to hide their disdain for wetlands or the thoughtful or meaningful legislative process.
Holcomb has not yet indicated if he'll sign the bill. Indianapolis Motor Speedway confirms a 5-time Indy 500 starter has died. Bill Whittington was 71. Authorities say he was piloting a plane that crashed outside Winslow, Arizona late last week. He was a regular in the field of the 500 in the early 80s and made history in 1982 as part of the only trio of brothers to make the same race when Dale and Don also qualified. A conviction on drug and tax charges abruptly ended Bill Whittington's IndyCar career in 1986. Now to business headlines, talking about job satisfaction here. In the face of the pandemic, an economic crisis, mass layoffs, and high unemployment, the percent of employees reporting overall satisfaction with their jobs remained high in 2020. This is according to a new survey from the Conference Board. Remote workers were not more or less satisfied with their jobs. Disney World recently announced a major upgrade to its resort that will enable the park to obtain nearly half of its energy from solar power. When the project comes online, which is expected to happen within the next 2 years, it will work with previously installed solar panels to produce enough energy that's expected to supply the park with 40% of its annual power consumption. Spotify is increasing the price of its premium family plan in the United States. As of April 30th, it'll cost $16 per month, up from $15 monthly, to get up to 6 in the same household access to the company's ad-free listening experience. Spotify announced the price hike in an email it sent to current subscribers. Apple is being sued in New York in an attempted class action complaint over water resistance. They claim Apple misrepresented how resistant to liquid the iPhone is in its marketing. The suit also says the warranty is said not to cover damage caused by liquids, usually signified by a liquid contact indicator turning red. Customers will be able to buy recreational vehicles from Camping World using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. The program's initial launch will include the company's Chicago and Kenosha, Wisconsin locations. The plan calls for the company later this summer to accept cryptocurrency at all its locations that sell RVs and its e-commerce platforms. The move comes on the heels of the company's plan to develop a platform for paperless online RV purchases. And finally, this morning, a Bloomington 6-year-old suffering from a rare disease wants to go on a big adventure. But travel restrictions from the pandemic are making it tough. Hunter Goldman was just diagnosed with juvenile Huntington's disease in December, and his big wish is to go to the beach in Disney World dressed up like Darth Vader. But the Make-A-Wish Foundation isn't allowing travel right now because of the health crisis. And as Hannah Mordeau reports, for Hunter, his health means time is of the essence for this trip.
Hunter. 6-year-old Hunter Goldman's smile will steal your heart, but his story might break it.
It was horrible.
His mom, Ashley, tries to hold back the tears, but the sad truth is, she'll likely outlive her son.
It broke my heart. I couldn't do anything.
Back in December, Hunter was diagnosed with juvenile Huntington's disease.
It's only a 3% chance that a child would actually get it, and he's one of the 3%.
It's a progressive disorder that breaks down the cells in the brain, and the symptoms are often described as having ALS, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's simultaneously. Sadly, there's no cure.
They have less than 10 years from when the onset started, and we want to say that he probably started about 2 or 3 years old.
Hunter is losing function quickly, but while he can still walk, he has a dream.
To the beach? Yeah.
Walking on the beach and going to Disney World dressed as his favorite Fortnite character.
Put his toes in the sand and dressed up as Darth Vader.
But because of the pandemic,
they still aren't granting travel wishes.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation can't send Hunter to Florida yet.
It's going to be another year or two before they could even do that. And with the progression he's going through right now, I don't think we're going to make it that far. So we're trying to do whatever we can to make that wish come true.
So the family started this GoFundMe page, is raising money through the IU Health Foundation, and opened a benefit account at Fifth Third Bank. In the meantime, they're cherishing the moments they do have.
He's not going to be able to have that sweet 16 car and stuff, so we went out and actually bought him a big, huge electric monster jam truck.
Helping Hunter live his life to the fullest.
For your dream to come true? Yes.
Dreaming big for as long as he can.
Bye. Bye.
Hunter has a younger sister and another sister on the way. His mom had to stop working to take care of him full time, so finances are thin, and the family simply can't afford this trip without help. So we have the many various ways to donate on our website. Just click on this story, go to the bottom of the page, and you'll find it there. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.